Okay, good morning all. What we're going to look at today, I'm just going to look at an exam question. So I've taken this from StudyClicks, and again, this is a great piece of software as well, and I would recommend that you log on and have a look at it and just have a look at the questions, because it will really help you in relation to getting ready for your junior cert, which is next year. But have a look. We're going to work through this question here, just one question from StudyClicks, and it kind of covers the area that we've been looking at, algebra and algebra word problems. Okay, so the first part of the question, what it's asking you to do, so question 10, a gym has 3 different formulas to estimate your maximum heart rate. So, and it's just abbreviate maximum HR. Given your age in years, different formulas can give different estimates. Okay, so there's three different formulas. The first formula is shown in the graph below. So what they mean is that they have, you have a graph here, okay? So along the x-axis, it's the variable of age, okay? And along the y-axis, you have the variability of maximum heart rate. And you can see here that we have a straight line that shows that there's a relationship between, for example, age and maximum heart rate. Now, what it asks you to do then is, using the graph above, to find the maximum heart rate if someone aged 30 years and someone aged 50 years. Show your work on the graph. Okay, so you're using the graph to find the maximum heart rate of someone who's aged 30, and then someone who is aged 50. So let's just have a look at this. So we're looking for somebody that's aged 30 and somebody that's aged 50. Now, what they're asking you to do is to use the graph here that we have. So let's have a look at this. So if your maximum heart rate for 30 years, so what we do is we find 30 here in the graph, and we work our way up the graph. Okay, so we just follow this line up until it hits this line here, and then wherever it cuts the line, then we go across here. Okay, so we can see here, if your age is 30, your maximum heart rate is going to be 190. So we can write in here, so the maximum heart rate for a 30-year-old, based on this formula here, or based on this graph, okay, that's what they mean by the formula, it's the graph that we have here, is equal to 190 beats. So the next one then is, if you're 50 years of age, okay, can you find out what your maximum heart rate is? So again, all you're doing is you're just looking on the graph. So you see here, you just work up here. Here's where it cuts the line, and you just work across then. Okay, and it's 170 beats. So that would be the answer to that question. Okay, so question A. Now this is what they're asking you to do here. Okay, so they're saying part of the formula that gives this graph is shown below. So part of the formula that gives the graph is shown below. Fill in the missing number in the formula. So what it's saying is the maximum heart rate, so is equal to some value minus your age. So we have to try and think about what is the value that you're putting in here in order to get the heart rate. So what number? So if we have a look at this, okay, so we can see here. So we're saying that the maximum heart rate. So let's say in this case we're saying 190. So the maximum. So if we want to think about this, so 190 is equal to some value for x minus, let's say, minus the age. Okay, so in this case, when the heart rate is 190, the age is 30. Okay, so we have a formula here, so we have to solve for x. So what we can do is we can just take the values that we've got here. So 190. So how would we figure out what x is? So what we'd have to do is we'd have to add x. To get rid of the x here, we'd have to add 30 here. If we add 30 here, we have to add 30 here. Okay, so these will cancel out, and then x is going to be equal to 220. Okay, so that's for the first value that we used. And then what we can do is we can do exactly the same thing as well for the next value that we used. So let's say when the maximum heart rate is 170, so 170 is equal to some value for x minus minus 50. Okay, so again, we can use this algebra here as well. So we can add 50 here, and then we can add 50 here, and these will cancel out, and then x is equal to 170 plus 50, which again is equal to 220. Now, so what we've done here is we've figured out what the formula is, okay, by using algebra. So we're taking the two values that we've got here, and we've worked it out. Now, what we can do is we can go back down here then to this. So what we can say is that. Sorry, I just need to. So what we can say is that part of the formula that given. So this is part of the formula. So it's equal to the maximum heart rate is equal to 220 minus your age. Okay, so minus whatever the age, whatever your age is, and you see here we've worked that out here in these two examples that we've used. So let's just let me just see if I can. What I'll do is let me just bring these down here for you. So we can make it a little bit more sense of it. Okay, so we can see here that this formula is what we're working on here. Okay, but we're just using the values that we took off the graph, and we've worked out in this instance it's 120, and we've done this, or 220, and then we've done the same here as well. Okay, so we've confirmed that the formula is equal to the maximum heart rate, which in this case is 170, is equal to, so this is our equal sign, 220, so that's the value that we've worked out for x, minus the age. Okay, so this is minus your age. In this case, we're looking at 50, and we just took those off the graph. Okay, so that's that one. So again, we're just continuing on with the questions. So the next one then is the second formula for finding the maximum heart rate is equal to 220 minus half your age. Use the formula to find the maximum heart rate for someone aged 60 years. So what we do is we use this formula here. So if somebody is equal to 60 years, so maximum max heart rate is going to be equal to 210 minus half of your age, minus a half times, in this case the age, they're saying the age is 60, is equal to 60. So again, we can just work this out to figure out what this maximum heart rate is. So it's going to be 210 minus, sorry, now what this is, so minus, so a half multiplied by 60 is equal to 30. Okay, and then we can just work this out. So 210 minus 30 is going to be equal to 180. So therefore, this is your answer here. So the maximum heart rate is, in this case, 180. So when the person is 60 years of age, their maximum heart rate is going to be 180. And if we go back up here, okay, 180. Okay, so that's so. Okay, and if we look here, so let's say if we use that formula, we can see here again. We can just use the algebra here to try and figure out what your answer is. Okay, so in this case, the answer is going to be 180. So we're not using the graph in this case; we're just using the formula. So the third formula then is shown in the table on the right, the pattern is the maximum heart rate column is a linear pattern, so complete the table. So what we can see here, so when the person is 20 years, the heart rate is 190. When the person is 30 years, the heart rate is 186. So if we think about what the difference between these two, so the difference between them is 10. So 10 is going to be equal to, so if we take 190 minus 186, so 190 minus 186, so 100, we'll just cancel this now. So 190 minus 86, sorry, minus 186. So the difference in is, so 10, the difference in, so 10 is equal to, so 10 years is equal to an increase of 4. So we can see here we're going up in tens each time. Sorry, we're going down in tens each time. Every time we go down by 10, it's a reduction in heartbeats of 4. So if we have a look at this, so the first one is 190, then that drops, so the heart rate or the age drops by 10 years, and the heart rate drops down by 4 beats. So here we're dropping down from, the age is going to 40 years. Sorry, the age is increasing by 10, so the heart rate is dropping by 4 beats. So here, so following on from that then, so this is, so if when they're 40, it's going to be 182. It's just going to be 186 minus 4. And then you're going, again, we're increasing by another 10 years, so it's going to be 178. So again, we're just minusing 4 from the number above. And then it's going, at 60, then you're going to be at 174. Okay, so that would be the answer to that one there. And we can see that this is following a linear pattern. And then what it asks us to do then is, using the values in the table, draw a graph on the grid below to show the maximum heart rate for all ages from 20 to 60 years. So what you've been asked to do here then, you've been asked to take your values that are here within this. So you want to take all these values here. So this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, and you want to plot them on the graph, okay? So what you're going to do then is you're going to say, so 20 years, so here's 20 years here, and what we want to do is when it's 20, when the age is 20, we want to increase that then to 190, so that's going to be somewhere up here, so we'll just draw our value here. Okay, sorry about this now. So we're going to draw, that's the value there. Okay, sorry, I'm just having a bit of trouble with the pen here. So that's, the value there. Okay, the next one then is when it's age 30. So that's our value here. We are at 186. So we're somewhere around here. 186. So we're there. So that's 20 done, 30 done, 40. When we're at 40, so 40 is here, so we look along the bottom, and then we look at where, so we're on 182, so we're somewhere around here, so around there, so that's 40, 50, so 50 is here, so we're at 178, so 1, 2, 3, so we're about here, okay, so about here, Okay, and then so that's 50, and then at 60 then we're at 174. So 60 is 174, so the bottom is 170. 1, 2, 3, so 1, 2, 3, 4, so we're about here. Okay, so what we see there is we have these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. Now what I can do is I can draw a line then of best fit to go across that to join all these together. So if I draw a line, so that's what it looks like. It looks something like that. So that's your answer then to that question. Okay, and okay, so that's just, so again, this is just some of the basic algebra concepts that we've looked at, and again, I'm just using study clicks just to take some of the material that's up there. So what I want you to do now, so I want you to work on this question here. So give this one a go. So work through the question as best you can. And again, as I was saying, just write the answers into your copy, take a picture, and then just send it on to me via the chat option. Okay, so guys, hope you have a great day. Enjoy the weekend. The weather looks good outside, so make sure and just get outside and, stay away from people outside, but just get outside and enjoy the good weather in around your house. Okay, don't be cooped up inside all day. Okay, so guys, have a nice weekend, and we will see you next week. Okay, thank you.